to tell us about how the government is in fact looking forward for this 5 trillion economy.
धन्यवाद वर्जी जी. I am thankful to India Center for Policy Research and Governance for inviting me on this retail संवाद. और मेरे काफ़ी पुराने मित्र आदित्य झा जी, जिनको अभी हमने सुना, उनका भी मैं धन्यवाद देता हूँ. मेट्रो कैश एंड कैरी एंड यहाँ पे जो उपस्थित रिटेल सेक्टर से जुड़े हुए जो यहाँ पर सब डेलीगेट्स हैं, उनका भी बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन. देखिए, आई विल बी यूजिंग मिक्स्ड लैंग्वेज. जो मुझे ये शब्द बहुत अच्छा लगा आदित्य जी, रिटेल संवाद. देखिए, संवाद का आपने बताया, हमारे ग्रंथ में हम बहुत पुरानी संस्कृति है भारत की, उसमें लिखा है वादे वादे जायते तत्वबोधा. Through debate and discussions you come to the truth and what is the actual situation. और जैसे टू वे संवाद की बात है, it is an important part of the policy making. Slowly and slowly the government is realizing and implementing. I am involved in so many policy interventions from on part of the party, particularly on the economic issues. And in my last 4-5 years of working, and before that also, I have seen there is an increasing encouragement from the government to come out with suggestions from the stakeholders, direct to the stakeholders. Whether it was the last year's budget before this year, or it was at the Atmanirbhar Bharat package, and even when there was policy initiatives like logistic policy, e-commerce policy, even retail trade policy, new industrial policy, there was a huge level of requirement from the government that the party gets into the mode of discussing with the real stakeholders, get their opinion, and there was a proper formal platform created at the party level before the Atmanirbhar Bharat package, before the two budgets which were there in the last year and the current year, and extensively our inputs were asked from the government on these 4 major policies, where one of the important policies is retail trade policy. And it was clearly, and I am I can say with conviction and confirm that many of the suggestions which came to us, even at the Atmanirbhar Bharat package time, were seriously considered. और कई बार हमें लगता है, हम सोचते हैं कि पॉलिसीज जो अभी 8 साल से पिछले 8 साल से मोदी जी के पॉलिसीज इंटरवेंशन में इतना अच्छा इम्प्लीमेंटेशन हो रहा है, उसका एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण कारण है कि स्टेक होल्डर्स की राइट एस्पिरेशंस, स्टेक होल्डर्स का राइट जो उनका पर्सपेक्टिव है, इट इज बीइंग टेकन इनटू कंसिडरेशन बाय द गवर्नमेंट. सो विद दिस ओपनिंग रिमार्क आई वुड लाइक टू से कि दिस इज एन इम्पॉर्टेंट प्लेटफॉर्म. And I thank the organizers for this taking this forward. और दूसरा जो इसमें जो रिटेल शब्द है ना, जो रिटेल, दोनों ही शब्द बड़े महत्वपूर्ण हैं, बिकॉज गवर्नमेंट को पता है कि एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप और सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन इज एन इम्पॉर्टेंट चैलेंज फॉर द गवर्नमेंट. इट इज नो डिनाइंग द फैक्ट फ्रॉम एनीबडी from the government platforms also, and I openly say that employment generation is a challenge in India, because so many young population is getting engaged, coming to the working age on a monthly basis, yearly basis. To give a organized sector's job to all of them, a government job is completely a very difficult situation, but even in the private sector, just creating so many jobs is quite a challenge for any government. And for that, entrepreneurship and self-employment is an important aspect. And for that, even if I have been working in the global economic platforms also, we have seen that the MSME sector has contributed a lot for global economy. Even the developed economies like US, etc. also, their MSME sector's contribution to the overall GDP is huge. And therefore, in that, manufacturing sector is an important portion, but services is also an important portion. So retail is an important catalyst for the growth in India. It has a large potential to create more employment. It has a large potential to create more GDP growth in the economy, and therefore it is an important area where the government thinks that more can be done and should be done. So with this background, I would like to say some more points is that even in this budget, if you look into this budget, when the Prime Minister announced this budget, he said there is one more very important part, that was that he asked everybody from the party and other people is that lot of effort goes into a making of a budget, and budget generally becomes a 2-day affair. It will be announced by the finance minister in the parliament, discussed for 2, 3, 4 days in the parliament. Some pink papers will give headlines on the budget, and then everybody will forget. This time Prime Minister said that the party has to formulate a platform where the provisions of the budget is taken to every nook and corner of the country. It goes to every stakeholders, discuss them particularly, bring give them all the provisions of the budget, discuss with them, get the feedback. The budget still the budgetary exercise, budgetary session is going on. If there are some certain suggestions, the government will take into this cognizance. And I will tell you, the budget was presented on 1st February. On 2nd February, almost 12 chief ministers of different states, or where our government is not there, where our government, our party is at the leader of the opposition, they undertook a press conference at 12 different places. On 4th February, 40 cabinet ministers and senior party leaders, those who understand economics, they conducted at 40 places 3 programs. One was the press conference. Second was the intellectual meet with particularly youth, women entrepreneurs, business community, intellectuals, etc. And the third program was a town hall meeting and discuss with them. This was the program at the center on 2nd February, 4th February, and then till 12th February. The same program was replicated at the district level, etc. by the party structures. And at the center, they formulated one committee of 8 members to take this program further. And I was part of it, so I know the effort that has gone. We have collected the responses also, and surely we will take to the government. So this is an important area where Samvad is an important aspect of the policy. And the thing is, we have to, if we are working in some retail sector or any other sector, I think we have to understand the challenges also. I will definitely take what are the initiative, underline them, some of the important points that the government has particularly included in this budget, and what we have been working on the MSME sector, particularly through Mudra loan and other initiatives. Definitely I'll underline, but there are certain aspects where there is lot of challenges which are important for the industry to understand. These challenges are also very important for our understanding. Yesterday it was a Consumer Day, International Consumer Day, where Piyush Goyal ji said that, and if I am also connected with lot of businesses. It is said that the biggest challenge is consumer is the king, and the potential of technology, the changes in the technology and digitization drive are creating an ecosystem where consumer preferences are challenging, their experience is changing, their behavior is changing. So these challenges have to be met by the industry themselves. Government can only empower and create an enabling environment. The particularly understanding those challenges, understanding those risks, giving their suggestion to the government how the government can create further enabling environment. These have to be taken by the sectoral leaders, and I think here there are many sectoral leaders, and even through social media this will take place. So consumer behavior, their ability to choose on the product, their preferences, their technology access, etc., are important challenges that we all have to meet. And in addition to that, another challenge which comes along with the global economic environment is the integration of regional and global supply chain. Our manufacturing product, etc., are being integrated more and more with the regional and global supply chain. So these challenges also have to be met. So these are some of the challenges that I wanted to underline. The industry should get prepared, and definitely your report I saw your last year. This is January report, January 23 program report, and this is the 6th program. Surely these reports will be taken to the government. आदित्य जी के भी संपर्क है, हम भी उसको आगे लेके जाएंगे. So definitely we will take these initiatives further, whatever suggestions come your way. I have worked in the retail trade policy and in detail in e-commerce policy continuously, even digitization issues, etc. The privacy and data issues are there, artificial intelligence issues are there, which are being incorporated into the policy, and a requirement of the retail sector will also be taken care of. The second point that I would like to do in addition to challenges is what are the important government initiatives. Particularly, I'll focus on this budget. India is at the crux of a big revolution, and the 75th year, which is called Amrit Kal, with next 25 years, Indian economy is poised to be a huge growth. And this is not only that Indians are saying, globally this is being acknowledged, that India has a big potential for growth in the economic sector, and this budget lays the foundation for that growth. And if India's finding the visibility and the leadership at the global platforms, whether it is G20 or United Nations Security Council's permanent membership, SCO, Quad, World Economic Forum, it is because the world sees that growth in the next 2-3 decades, at least for the 25 years, will be in India. And whoever country becomes an economic power, that only can give the leadership to the global world. And therefore, the Prime Minister's focus was that this budget this year will create a foundation for an Amrit Kal and India becoming the global superpower in next 2 or 3 decades. And therefore, so many initiatives, particularly on the MSME sector, have been announced in this budget. And not only in this, if you analyze the Atmanirbhar Bharat or production PLI schemes or last year's budget, there has been focus by the government on linkages of academic and industry linkages in important aspect, where Prime Minister has said whether to support the startup ecosystem, or I have been working on the PSU, many of the PSU boards. There also Prime Minister himself took 2-3 meetings where he said that every PSU has to support the startup ecosystem. They have to put on their website what are the problems and challenges being faced by those particular companies with regard to processes or product, and then if they find anybody approaches them that we can come out with some startup solution or technological solution on this process and product, they have to support and fund that product. They have to then, when the project is successful, then they have to buy those products and then further provide them equity. I am on the board of BPCL also. I was on the board of Bank of Baroda. We had created Center of Excellence in the Bank of Baroda also, in BPCL also. We have created a separate fund for funding the startup and taking research initiative, providing them equity. Good fund has been allocated in the company. Similar, I think other companies have done. Prime Minister has requested them. So create and he has encouraged that we allow organize hackathons, etc., where we go to the universities, go to the Atal Tinkering Lab, Atal Innovation Center, create an incubation center, support them financially, and nurture them through IIT, IIMs, all those things. The Prime Minister has been said, so that he has said that what is lacking in our country is academic or other research is not finding the commercial outcome. That commercial linkages is not there. So we have to link the research and development to the industries, profitable commercial ventures, etc. And I read your last takeaway there. This was an important challenge that your request was that to take away as a takeaway we have to do is in this. So government initiative of supporting startup, support from the PSUs and PSBs, the support from Atal Tinkering Lab, creating center of excellence, etc., have been there. The second important part the government is taking on the IPR initiative. The government understands that if you have to compete globally, because products are now having a global outreach, anybody can choose any product across the global. So ultimately, the kirana, small retail, or anybody has to go with a good product, and he has to look after the consumer experience, what is the choice of the consumer, etc. So he has to create comply with certain standards, comply with IPR standards, and globally now further challenge will come about this environmental sustainable growth, etc. At times in the global arena, these kind of climate compliances, etc., are used as a trade blocks. It may indirectly, because if you are if they put up certain conditions that it is a carbon emission is a condition for any product, so that product will be hampered at the global arena. So these are the issues where the government is working on creating IPR ecosystem, creating better standards, ESG. I am a part of Institute of Chartered Accountant also. We have been working on how our balance sheet at the corporate levels can incorporate environmental cost, ESG compliance, even in the small businesses. These are all have to be looked into. So this is one thing. In this particular budget, ease of doing business is another always point where businesses, small businesses particularly, talk that request the government that the government should come out with certain important, because compliance cost is a big challenge for small business. Particularly, we had working in the this GST compliance, even virtual assessment compliance, etc., where compliance cost is a big challenge for small businesses, etc. So they are in this budget, particularly the government has announced that 39,000 compliances requirement have been done away with. 1,500 laws which were redundant in the last budget. 1,500 laws which were redundant had been repealed, and in this budget 3,000. Another challenge that we received, or another request or suggestion that we had received in our earlier interaction with the business committee, was that decriminalize them. In the last budget, in the company law, lot of factors on decriminalization initiative were taken. In this budget, 3,000 laws where criminality was an important part, was a problem which was hindering small businesses, even large businesses also. 3,000 laws have been decriminalized. Any lapse on that part will attract only civil liabilities and not the criminal liability. This is an important initiative, and further government is working on, if there are suggestions, if you have any suggestions where compliances cost can be reduced, compliances steps can be reduced, or decriminalization is required, where white collar crimes or white collar lapses, etc., have to be done away through penalties and other reform process, etc., these are welcome. So this is an important point that I wanted to underline. The third point of the government initiative is about the major problem that I have seen in my interaction with businesses and MSME particular sector is they have a lot of lacking of awareness. Initiative like I was in the MSME committee of the Ministry of Finance in the last government, and we had worked on several initiatives. One important initiative that was suggested was about the treats. That was creating a platform of integrating with the Bank of Baroda, National Stock Exchange, and this PSUs, etc., where the payment was an important problem. That non-receipt of payment or delay in payment was an important part. So this platform was created where any of the bill which has been accepted by the government or PSU or government department, they have to compulsorily get themselves registered into the treats platform, and if they have supplied anything, their bill is brought to put on the website of the treats. Any of the bank can pick up that and discount it for the small businesses, and finally the payment realization becomes the responsibility of that bank from the directly government department or the PSUs, etc. And even large corporate house were asked to put themselves into that platform. So it's a very good initiative. Technology has been an important part of solution for the Prime Minister. He has always said that identify a problem, find a technological solution to it, and then integrate all the stakeholders. If Treat or GEM, like government e-market platforms have been created, we have identified various stakeholders into that who are beneficiaries, user, bank, buyers, vendors, etc. Integrate the stakeholders into that and then create a performance metrics. This is the success of our solution by the Prime Minister, that for everybody, if the government has set up a target that 20 lakh crores annual procurement of the government and major PSUs or a large department will take place through GEM. So that is a target, 20 lakh crore annual procurement will be done through the GEM platform. This is the kind of target that is bringing good results. So technological solutions, GEM, now a big initiative is taking place under the ONDC platform, etc. So I think these kind of awareness has to be brought to the people. If they will use these issues. Even GST is a digital platform where lot of smooth issues of corruption, leakages, etc. have been checked by the government. Even I have a good experience of virtual assessment. The refunds are coming directly to the bank account. There are certain technological glitches initially. I accept that when the GST was implemented in 2016, for 1-2 years, lot of technical glitches were faced by the people. Now in virtual assessment, some of the issues with the technology are being faced. Even the ROC, there are in the formation of the company, certain glitches are being formed, but the government is on the day-to-day basis, on the even day-night basis, trying to meet those challenges, find the solutions, and working on that. And we should understand that Australia took 6 years to implement GST. We were able to implement GST in 2 years' time. So this is the scale, speed with which the government is working. So these initiatives, further more initiatives are taking place under the one district, one product, because the Prime Minister feels and says that the 60% of our population is in the remote areas, in the village areas, different difficult geographical areas, tribal areas. So we have to push our economy in that area, rural area. So the thing is that like schemes like one district, one product, identify each district, one product, and then promote that product, give the credit linkage to them, give marketing support to that product in that district, and create a cluster development ecosystem so that that product is developed. And Uttar Pradesh has taken a big leap. I am in Noida. I work in the Uttar Pradesh area also. He has taken a big leap. Products like apparel industries taking huge growth in the Noida. Aligarh Lock is there. Sports Meerut is taking place. Muradabad steel industries. So, and in this G20 initiative, Prime Minister has created a big vision for G20 growth initiative this year. He has organized. He has said that at 56 places, just G20 summit or programs or events will be organized across countries. All the states have got at least one program in their kitty, and 56 places these programs will be organized. And what he is saying as a future vision for India to make a $5 trillion economy is that India has a big potential for growth in the cultural economy sector, because we have a good growth potential in areas like food, festival, products, architecture, art, music instruments, etc. So these areas, if they are developed, and which India has a larger potential, and product are developed, and they are showcased to the global influencer community, which will be coming in this 1 year to the India, and we showcase our cultural economy potential to them. They are influencer. About 1 lakh people who are coming, they are influencer in their countries. 29 countries representative are coming. 20 global organizations representatives are coming in this 1 year. About 1 lakh influencers are coming. Government will showcase them at different part, their festival, even their products. The whole event is being organized in a way that the whole cultural aspect or economic product, etc., from that place will be showcased to those people. And if they will become the ambassador for India's growth story in the future, and how cultural economy can take place, growth how it can catalyze the growth. So all these benefits have been planned in that. Some days back in Delhi, Adi Mahotsav was so successful, and Prime Minister himself tweeted about the way it was creating good awareness among the people about tribal product, etc. So the thing is, huge development, huge work is being done by the government. At times we get into certain political narrations, we do not get the right aspect to the right situation. But as a party, I want to assure that Bharatiya Janata Party and our government is completely committed to a strong economy for India. We understand that the global leadership which we want to achieve for India in 2047, when we complete 100 years of our independence, will come from when India becomes an economic superpower. That is an important roadmap that we have to take. So I think these important initiatives have to be taken to the people of the country. शर्मा जी आए स्वागत है. So these important initiatives have to be taken to the people. Align your work and thought process and your business to the future growth areas. Actually, you have to be continuously in this technological disruption time. Use more and more technology, adopt your business cycles, adopt your risk to the businesses. At times, what I find is that communication to the government happens from the various associations, but it happens at a later stage. When we are doing following a policy, whatever policy is being implemented or brought by the government, it has to be first put into the public domain. Give your suggestions at the point of time when the policy is in the formulation stage. What we do is, once the government has taken a position, it has formulated a policy, announced a policy, then we start cribbing and crying. So that becomes, when the government has taken a position, etc., it becomes a difficult point. But if you see the example in e-commerce and this even retail trade policy, even industrial policy, etc. The government is proactively taking suggestions, even logistic cost, the amount of targeted delivery in the reduction in the logistic cost for transportation of raw material and the finished product has been very clearly defined in our logistic policy. Second draft has come where the government has said that we will reduce the contribution of the logistic cost to the final total GDP from 16% to 10%. The way the target has been set, that if the logistic cost of transportation of finished and raw material is reduced, ultimately it will benefit the whole business community. So these things, and we have to also understand that we were working in an industrial policy which was there in the country was formulated in 1948. After that, in 1991, there was an amendment, minor amendment, but there was no new industrial policy. Our government has initiated a complete new industrial policy. Is no retail trade policy in the country. Our government has initiated retail trade policy. E-commerce there was there, but continuously new suggestions and challenges are coming. We are doing logistic policy was not there. It has been a new separate logistic policy is being formulated and it is being integrated in the Gati Shakti or infrastructure development, etc. So these things I wanted to underline. Another important initiative in this budget is the government has made it compulsory that those companies who do not make payment within 45 days for MSME or small businesses, their expenditure there will not be allowed in their balance. It's an important issue that has to be used. There are certain challenges from which the MSME or other businesses say that if we complain to the companies with whom we are doing business, it becomes counterproductive. But there is a way we have to work out. Even the cooperative sector, I think one area where our big focus of the government is on the cooperative sector. The separate ministry has been created under the Ministry of Cooperation, and Amit Shah ji, our Home Minister, is heading that ministry. And this year it has been targeted that 2 lakh new cooperatives will be set up. We think that the cooperative sector in the rural areas or in the small businesses areas, this farmer producer organization, self-help group and cooperative sector, these 3 sectors can further propel our growth. And therefore, we had earlier reduced the corporate tax, even individual tax, there is certain relaxation in the budget, but specific drastical reduction in the taxation is in the corporate sector. Only 15% tax has been announced that cooperative sector will attract only 15% tax. So cooperative sector will be a big growth propeller. Prime Minister 2-3 days back further said in the yesterday it was International Women's Day. He said that self-help groups will be a major initiative, and in our all schemes, if you look, data was identified. I was reading yesterday that how many women entrepreneurs are getting benefit, whether it's the JAM, Trinity or Mudra loan. Even 60-70% women entrepreneurs are getting preferences on these loans. So these were some of the issues that your last year's earlier report had mentioned, and I thought I should definitely talk about them. And one more point that I would like to say is about Digital India initiative. This UPI, RuPay card, Swift settlement, fintech is an important area which will help and support small businesses. We have to adopt to them. Definitely, these in India's growth story is taking place because of digital payment ecosystem. I met one of the German CEO in one of the programs in Delhi. She was along with me in one discussion. I just asked you, what is your experience in India? She said the penetration of digital payment in India is amazing. And in even Europe, etc. No country has such a deep penetration of digital payment. She said ki, I have gone to some remote areas and I am using UPI, mobile payment, etc. There is nothing like this. Apps like Covin, etc., are creating revolution. DigiLocker, etc., are important initiatives which can create a big technological revolution. Artificial intelligence is being used. Complete ecosystems for creating using blockchain technologies, establishing audit trails. Today, I was reading because compliances and transparency and corruption-free ecosystem is the target of the government. We have to get ourselves committed that compliances we will do. We will, as at government level, ease the compliances, create and decriminalize the laws. But we have to work with the mindset that we have to work in a corruption-free ecosystem. Compliances has to be good. I have a personal experience in financial markets, capital market. When SEBI was SEBI started regulating the financial market, there was huge hue and cry. But today, our financial market are the most regulated. Almost 100% of deliveries are taking through digital NSDL, DMAT depositories. Settlement that is taking place in T+1 settlement. Globally, it is in no country, even Europe, America, etc., it's a T+2 settlement. But India has gone on to T+N. So we have a strong edge on the fintech side. Their initiatives, I think, we should use. Last point that I would like to mention is about the free trade agreement. Even in 2010, our Indian government signed free trade agreement. I would like to mention about RCEP because government had took a lot of initiative in discussing whether we should get into the RCEP or not, and whether we should do away with free trade agreement or which country we should enter into the free trade agreement, which will help our small businesses particularly, is that about the free trade agreement in RCEP. Earlier in 2010, when we had signed a free trade agreement with ASEAN countries, it had completely destroyed our small business because there was big influx of product from the global community, particularly from the ASEAN countries. We completely discontinued with free trade agreement with these 10 ASEAN countries, and we did not enter into RCEP, which was not conducive to our small businesses, etc. And we are working on free trade agreement with developed countries, UAE, Australia, UK, US. These are the bilateral trade platforms that the government is working on, and we think that our industries, businesses, etc., once a small industry develop lot of business subsidies, etc., develop, lot of vendors are required. It's a big ecosystem which is created in the whole industrial manufacturing sector, which helps small businesses, even retail, etc., will also be helpful. So we are working on that. So these are the things that I wanted to share with you about the government initiatives.